Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak. How's everybody doing? We are entering into mid March. I should say mid March. I almost said mid April. Um, Middle of March. The weather is sort of acting up here in South Carolina. We had some warm days throughout February, and then we had another cold snap. Last weekend was very chilly. Um, we had some below freezing temperatures. I'm sure it really confused all the bees out there trying to get their pollen and their honey, and it probably really confused all the flowers that wanted to bloom and they just couldn't do what they wanted to do. And it just kind of became one of those things where um, the weather was unpredictable. And we sort of have this here in South Carolina on a regular basis. There's always that time period where it gets a little too warm, and then we have a freezing snap right before Easter. This typically happens every year. And the weather today is kind of breezy. There's a lot of pollen out. Everybody's vehicle's coated in a nice film of yellow. And their temperatures are like 64 degrees today and windy and kind of chilly, a little bit uncomfortable chilly. But it's still nice, still a nice day out. So I went out and did some stuff today, kind of enjoyed the day. I hope everybody gets a chance to do the same. I've had two really great podcasts back to back. If you haven't heard them, go back and check out episode 348 with Jan Vidraska. He and I talk about the war going on between Russia and the Ukraine and sort of his inside perspective on how we look at the situation, how, he's from that part of the world and sort of, has become an American citizen and has, lived all over the world. And I just wanted someone's perspective who had a lot of thought about it and sort of can understand that in this scenario, um, while it seems like Putin is the complete bad guy in the situation, there is an understanding of how he got that way and why he's that way, and it sort of helps not just demify him, but also humanizes him in a way and goes, well, okay, I see what you're doing and I understand it, but I don't agree with it. I don't like the fact that innocent lives are being lost. And I mean, I don't know. It was a great conversation. It was a really interesting conversation, very deep. Then last week I had Kelvin Durant on. He's the owner of a new youth counseling center. We talked a lot about mental health care and proper mental health care and that sort of thing. And I am no expert in mental health. I feel like on a daily basis, I struggle within myself of what the right thing to do is. I'm constantly trying to decide whether or not I'm doing enough. Um, there is times where I feel like I am inadequate, where I should be doing more, where I should be learning more, where I should be volunteering more, or participating more, or something. Like there's always something that I feel like I should be doing more of. And I don't know. I know that I know that genetically it is in me to constantly feel that way because my mom and my dad both are wired that way. And it may be genetics. It may be a long lineage of people who, whenever there were invaders, whether it be animal or people, um, that lineage of people were the ones who survived because they were constantly thinking of the dangers that are coming and how to prepare and how to get ready and how to be ever vigilant. And maybe that's part of it. Um, I saw something online this past week that said that um, years ago, people generally lived to be in their 30s, and that anything past 30 is why your body tends to break down the most and you tend to go a little crazy. Um, and maybe there's some truth to that. I'm not sure. I know that community helps. I know that having people around you to talk to help. I know that feeling as though you're needed is helpful. Um, you need to have something to do and something to keep your mind busy and your hands busy. And the trick of that is you also have to then teach others in your group to be the same way. And if you're the person who does all the heavy lifting and you don't allow others to do lifting also, then they get a little crazy and they in turn make you crazy. And that's sort of my situation. Um, I seem to be able to keep all the crazy stuff in my brain quiet if I do most of the stuff. And what I've found is by doing that, I'm then taking away from other people the things that they need to be doing as well, which in turn makes me crazy because I'm like, why aren't you doing all of the things that I'm doing? And it's because I'm doing it all. Now, is there a right way to fix this? I have no idea. I literally just try to navigate every day just like everybody else does. Sometimes it helps to hang out with friends. Sometimes it helps to have tasks that keep me busy. Sometimes it helps to learn a new thing. And I'm constantly doing that. I'm constantly doing all of those things. Um, the moment that I stop doing it is when things go crazy. And then everybody looks at me and goes, all right, so how do we fix this problem? Or how do we do this? And I'm going, don't know. I don't know. I did have the interesting task this past week of being able to help my wife's dad. Um, he is going to be 79 this pretty soon, and he's battling with cancer. He's got cancer that's been in his lungs for a while due to smoking, lots and lots of smoking as he was younger. And for most of his life, he smoked. And so they put labels on everything, and they don't hide the fact that cancer is caused by smoking. But there's people out there that still want to look cool. And so they still smoke, and then they complain about how they can't breathe. And oh my God, I got cancer. Oh, you guys should feel sorry for me. We need to find a cure. And okay, fine. Stop smoking. So smoking being the number one thing that I see as a problem, not only in my family, but in families that I've come into contact with. Um, Lung cancer. And then it's moved to colon cancer. And then it's moved to most recently brain cancer, which is extremely exciting. Because at this point, there's no fixing it. At 79, there's no repairing it. There's no cure. It's just going to be upsetting and terrifying and painful. And that's why, you look at your own life and people talk about how life is so precious and spend every moment that you have with each other and enjoy this time together and enjoy the things that you have together. And then yet we're all running around like little mice trying to put out the fires in our own brain and keep ourselves from gnawing at our own legs, keeping busy. And then once in a while we have to pause and go, wait, what am I supposed to be focused on? Because all this other stuff that I thought was really important right now isn't. And family, I guess, is the center line of all that. Family is the gravitational pull that we all have that lets us know, hey, all of this stuff that you thought was important with your online community and your games and your tasks that seem ultra important suddenly aren't important when it comes to something happening to your family. So I was able to go and help Sammy. Well, I say help. I'd fixed it. I fixed a hole in his floor. He's got a hole in his floor. Years ago, he had a hot water heater that went bad and water leaked on the floor and it caused the floor to rot. Now, it wasn't bad to begin with. And so I think he just let it go. And as life happens and things happen, you just sort of skip over that thing that you needed to pay attention to. And he did do some repairs to fix some of it. But over time, those repairs haven't held up. And so I needed to fix it so that he wouldn't fall through the floor walking to his bedroom. And I was thankful to do that. I actually called my dad and I said, I was thinking about the fact that here's a problem that most people would hear and they would go, I don't know how to do that. And my first reaction is, oh, I know how to do that. When my wife said, hey, is there any way you could help fix this? And I was like, sure. And it was a journey. It was a journey that started with me and my dad, with the passing of his father. He and I had a conversation over the fact of, Your dad knew how to fix anything. He could build houses from scratch without any plans. He could, he listen, Charles Oliver Peak was an amazing man. And somewhere along the way, my dad and I, through life, just sort of weren't around each other. And so here was our moment to reconnect. And I said, I wish you lived closer instead of being in Maine and I'm in South Carolina. And I got these boys I'm raising and I don't really know how to fix anything. And he was like, well, there's a thing called YouTube and I'm starting to make videos and I'll share them with you. And that's how it started. And right now, if you look up R Peak on the internet, on YouTube, you'll see that he's got, 35,000 followers or something like that. And he just makes videos all the time of fixing things. And he told me one time, he said, I wish I could take the stuff that I knew how to fix as like a file and just download it so that everybody would have it. Because it's like I've just learned how to do things by doing them. And I asked him one time, I said, how did you learn to fix everything? And he said, I didn't. I learned how to fix one thing. And then every other problem that came after that, I thought, well, all I got to do is be more patient and I can probably figure it out. And that's kind of how it's worked out. Over the years, I've had lots of projects within my own home that have come up that there is no easy answer for. There is no easy fix. There's not necessarily a guy to call to do some of the things that you want done. And so you have to figure them out. Or you look at the cost of what it takes to do something that you feel like I should be able to do this. And all it takes is a little bit of research and you can. So I don't know. I felt very thankful to have that time with my dad and that experience and that knowledge of knowing that even during the times that I'm trying to fix things and I don't have the answer, all I really need to do is be more patient and just try. And so if you're out there and you're struggling with something and you can't quite figure out how to fix the problem that you have, it helps to talk to people. It helps to ask questions. It helps to look up stuff on the internet. Right now, there's lots of people who've done similar things to what my dad have done and what I've done. And you make YouTube videos and you share with others what you've learned. And you say, hey, this is what I learned works. Actually, I had a comment on a video that I put out this past year on a problem with my Ryobi battery powered weed eater. I bought two separate things from Ryobi that had the 40-volt battery pack, and one of them wouldn't charge all of a sudden. And I was like, well, why? What's going on here? I mean, I was literally using it and charging it and using another battery and charging it and just swapping them out as they needed to. And one of them just decided it wasn't going to charge anymore. And so when I contacted Ryobi, because I'd watched a lot of videos, people sharing information of what they'd done, most everybody on these videos showed that the best thing to do is just to call Ryobi and they would probably just swap you out a battery. And that's exactly what happened. There was a couple people that had these interesting fixes that had to do with taking the battery apart and hooking them up to other things and to charge it to zap it. And I was like, it looks dangerous. And I just was like, sometimes the easiest solution is just the one you go with. So I made a video and I just said, hey, basically, I'll just call them. So I get comments from people. Well, this didn't show me how to fix it at all. You just said how to replace it. Yeah, that's the fix. That's literally the fix. Just give them a call. They'll send you another battery. It's that simple. So I don't know. Some people, you could tell people, hey, listen, I can tell you how to make $1 million just by sitting at a house, and you don't have to do anything but think about $1 million. And I would get comment after comment from people saying, you mean I got to sit in my own house? Like, what if I want to go out? Why can't I do it for my car? Why can't I do it in my bedroom? What do you mean what if I think about goldfish? Does that mean I'm going to have goldfish, not $1 million? I mean, it's interesting to see how sometimes we spin out of control in the most simplest of tasks. Me included. I had a problem today. I went out to go grill. I have a Gorilla Grills pellet grill, and it's sort of become a frustrating labor of love. For years, I've had no problems out of this thing. And here lately, all the pellets that I buy end up being garbage pellets. They're all falling apart too soon. They're all getting a little too wet. And, part of it is the weather we're having. Part of it is the fact that maybe I'm not maintaining it as much as I should. I guess I should empty the pellets out after each use so that they don't continue to fall apart whenever any moisture gets to them. But I've been trying to take care of these pellets and trying to take care of this grill. And I was, pleasantly surprised whenever they announced that they had a Bluetooth hookup to cook stuff. Not Bluetooth, but Wi-Fi hookup, so that you could literally turn your grill on from anywhere in the world as long as you had a Wi-Fi signal, and you could monitor what you're cooking because you could have your probe in it and tell you what it's doing. And as long as you got pellets in there, you should be able to cook. And you could turn it off with it. You can control the temperature. There's all kind of cool stuff you can do with it. And so I got a Wi-Fi board this year. I actually made a video of replacing the old Wi-Fi board with a new one. I was even happy about their customer service because I noticed that the cabinet doors I had on the front had some rust around the bottom. And I was just like, should I paint these? Is this normal wear and tear? And they sent me a thing saying, oh, we're so sorry. We'll send out replacement doors. And they just sent me replacement doors just because it was the nice thing to do and the right thing to do. And I was like, wow, well, thank you so much. Great customer service. So today I go out to cook some stuff because it's Sunday and I need to get some food ready for the week. And a lot of times I don't have time during the week to cook the meat. But it is nice if you go ahead and grill the meat on the weekends and you can throw meals together like chicken salad or chicken and noodles or chicken and vegetables or something, steak and vegetables or whatever. So I had meat ready. I went to turn the grill on and it would not turn on. And I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? I had to double check everything that I had hooked up. I had to double check the unit. And I thought, okay, am I not getting power? So I've got some lights plugged in to the same circuit and I turned those lights on and they worked. And I went, okay, so it's not the circuit breaker. And I was like, what could it be? So I unplugged the thing and plugged it into the prong next to it and it worked. And I was like, oh, it was the prong that was wrong. But it's that problem solving of going, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's make sure that the thing that's wrong is the thing that's wrong. And most people don't do that. Most people have the first sign of, oh, here's a catastrophe. Here's something I didn't plan on. This thing that works doesn't work now. They throw their hands up and they walk away. Well, try to have a little patience. Try to sit back and go, okay, I can't control this. What can I control? And see if you can figure it out. And it helps having community. It helps having people you can ask. So if you come into a problem like that, you could go onto one of those pages on Facebook or wherever and say, hey, has anybody else had this problem before? And someone may have a solution. Or you can check YouTube or you can Google it. Who knows? Community, though. It's the whole thing I've been talking about this entire time of the podcast. Build community, work on community. I got to build my community a little bit bigger yesterday. I got to meet up with the Carolina Jeep Meet here in Florence, South Carolina. They are part of a group that is in Florence and Myrtle Beach and Sumter and Columbia and all the areas in between. And they've sort of started off as a club. And you can find them on Facebook. It's Carolina Jeep Meet. MEET, not MEAT. That's a different group. But we met here in Florence yesterday at Seminar Brewing. And I got a video put up on the YouTube, so you can check it out. It was cool. It wasn't anything that was sanctioned or, it wasn't a pre-registered thing. You just showed up. It was a meetup. So we met up. I have a friend, Danny Shaw. He's been on the podcast a few times. I've actually put up some videos of going to Jeep Jam at Myrtle Beach with him on here. And I decided to go and meet up with them and just record some stuff and hang out and meet people. And it was really good. It was a good community. Everybody was talking about how they've learned to build their Jeeps up and things they've done to make them better. And every bit of it made me feel good about our communities growing. Here's some like-minded people who are into, maybe it's off-roading, maybe it's, climbing rocks, whatever. But they've all gotten into their Jeeps modifying their Jeeps, putting in new radios, putting in new lights, lifting it, putting tires on it, putting these cool little things. When you open the door, the little ramp comes down on the side that you can step on. I mean, all these cool things. But they've built community from their love of their Jeep. And a Jeep is kind of like a Lego. You start off with a base and you can build on it from there. So you can have a Jeep that looks like anything you want. You can have it painted, you can have it ugly, you can have it dirty, you can have it fancy, you can put all kinds of stuff on it. It's plug and play, have fun, whatever you want to build it to be. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. So, anyway, I said all that to say this. If you haven't found your community, what are you waiting for? Find something you're into, find your group, be a part of it. Okay. Now, since this is stuff I heard, let me talk about some stuff that I've paid attention to lately, some shows that I've participated and watched in. I know I haven't talked about them much in the last couple of weeks because I've been doing podcasts with guests, but let's talk about some stuff. Okay. On Netflix, there's a show called Pieces of Her. It was okay, wasn't great. I know it was like a big top hit for a while. Lots of people were like, "Oh, this is really good." Yeah, okay. I could take it or leave it. Wasn't great. Um, Upload is on Amazon Prime. Upload is real interesting. This is season 2 that just came out. Season 1 came out years ago, but I guess because of scheduling and coronavirus and everything else, they halted shooting. I guess it took them a while to get popular or whatever. But Upload is really interesting. Upload is a movie about the future where people can upload their consciousness to a world basically on the internet before they die. Like if they, let's say they know that they're going to die, they can be uploaded to the cloud. And based upon their affluence, they can have a really cool afterlife in this cloud or a not so cool existence. And the show is funny. Like it's a comedy. Everything about this thing is funny. The people in it are great. The acting in it is great. The writing in it is great. Even the special effects are great. Season 2 is even better than season 1. I really enjoy Upload. I think that if you like science fiction-y stuff and you want to watch a comedy, it's lighthearted, it's silly. I like it. I like it a lot. The Marvelous Miss Maisel came out with the 4th season. We get to see a really great resurgence of Miss Maisel as she gets back into comedy, back into what made her so good in the other seasons. Season 3 was kind of a downer for me because it showed her opening for a famous singer, and I understand where they're going with the storyline, but season 3 to me was terrible. Season 4 is home run hitting out of the park, awesome, funny. It shows the characters developing and growing. It shows a blossoming relationship between Miss Maisel and Lenny Bruce. It shows how comedy was finding its roots in New York and the struggles that they had to perform because oftentimes they were told they couldn't say anything suggestive, anything that was foul mouthed, anything that would hurt the sensitivities of children, quote unquote. And so a lot of them did it in underground places and places that were sort of looked over by the police. And once in a while they got raided. But the writing in the show is really funny. The characters are great. The styling and the costumes and the everything about Miss Maisel season 4 is phenomenal. So I highly recommend that. I watched The Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's one of those Viking type shows where it follows this main character. His name is Uhtred. Uhtred. I am Uhtred, son of Uhtred of Bettenberg. And he really has a hard time of things. Nothing seems to go his way until the very end. Spoiler. But it's amazing watching this show because it's loosely based on real events and real battles and real people. That it's amazing watching this that people survived at all. I mean, it's really a history of really awful things happening to people. And somewhere out of all of it, we exist today. So it's okay. It's a pretty good show. I'm not crazy about the acting in it. There are a few good actors, but for the most part, it's just the story they're trying to tell. And the costumes are cool. The settings are cool. The battles are cool. But the acting is, you'll see. Now let's talk about some good acting, good writing and everything. The Adam Project. It's a movie on Netflix. Ryan Reynolds is the main character, and he's phenomenal. This is a time travel movie. This is a movie about family. This is a movie about a guy coming to terms with the loss of his father, with the loss of a loved one, and how to make things right, all wrapped up into a cool science fiction movie with great graphics, funny comedic stuff going on. And Jennifer Garner's in it as a mom, which is really cool. She's also a surprise voice in Upload. So it's kind of, I don't know what's going on with Jennifer Garner's agent, but he's got her working. I like it. I'm a big fan. Yeah. So the Adam Project, check it out. Also, if you haven't seen it yet on HBO Max, you've also got Ryan Reynolds in, God, what the hell is that? He's got this other thing. Free Guy on HBO Max. Yeah. This is really delightful. Yeah. I don't know what to say to give it away and not give it away, but check out Free Guy. It's really good. And that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. This is a short one. Just want to tell everybody out there that I'm thinking about you and I'm hoping you're well. And I hope that you can achieve your dreams and you at least go after them and try to learn. This week alone, I reached out to a friend of ours and I've got some filming things coming up that I want to learn how to do better. And I reached out because of community and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you have any recommendations? And he had recommendations that were helpful. So special thank you to Daniel Johnson. He's been on the podcast with his wife, Christina. I don't know the episode. I have to go back and look. But anyway, I'll probably have him on in the future so we can talk about geeky film and stuff and how we look at things and how we try to capture them for the viewer. And that's it. Take care, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to be a part of it and you want to have a conversation, reach out to me. Let me know. Check out the website, www.stuffiheard.com. There's a contact page on there. There's ways to reach me any way you want, and we'll go from there. Okay. Until then, y'all take care. And as always, cue the cow.
So I want you guys to give me more likes. Give me more likes.